Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode, a long last return of the Open Task Podcast. I'm Calvin Smith, my main man, Joe Carlos, and our
Hello.
special guest tonight. Hey, my bad, Joe.
Oh, no problem. Hello.
And our special guest tonight, our esteemed colleague from the great state of Alabama, Huntsville to be exact.
Yep.
The esteemed senator, as it were, Christopher Lee. Welcome, Chris.
Esquire.
Esquire. ESQ.
Esquire. ESQ.
How you
Good
doing,
evening.
Chris?
Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Long time watcher, first time guest.
It's true. Thank you.
It is true.
Thank you. And
We
thank
love
you.
that. And thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We appreciate that. We
Yes.
appreciate every listen, every listener
Any
out there, every time you listen. We love it.
Absolutely. We love it.
So we are here on this occasion because sadly, football season is winding on down. It's been a season. It has been fun in some aspects for some individuals, I'm sure. But for
more for some than others. Yes,
exactly. More for some than for others. But we love football here on the Open Task Podcast. This time last year, we started a tradition, as it were, where we would go through the slate of games and make predictions. And so this year, we're going to do the same. But this year, we decided to gussy it up a bit, as it were. And one of our favorite again, I got a lot of really good group meets, and most of them I've been invited by Joe to. And one of our favorites is the NFL and the NCAA group meets, particularly the NCAA group meet. We have a morning greeting on Saturday mornings, a roll call, as it were. And this is where Chris really shines. So, Chris, we're so happy to have you, man. What were your thoughts on the season this year in terms of the NFL? What were your how did it go for you?
Well, how it went for me, well, given that my team has been done since Thanksgiving, Halloween, I don't know.
Yeah.
But no, it was a very competitive, exciting season overall, though, across the board. I still enjoyed the rest of the games and seeing teams like Houston have a very nice turnaround, especially with Coach D'Amico Ryans, Alabama guy.
That's right.
And it's always good to see Cleveland make a run in there. They deserve to have some joy in their lives at some point from time to time, and see the Blue Stars out there in Dallas make a run, and as usual, watch the NFC South figure it out by the end of the calendar year.
Somebody's got to win it.
Somebody, anybody.
Thank gosh for the NFL rules where all division winners must make
a playoff. Yes.
Joe, how about you, man? What are your thoughts on the season as a whole?
It was an interesting season for me. I was very excited about going into the season. I felt that my team was uniquely suited in a good position to win the South, win its division, to win the South, and it was down to the last day. So there was literally there was not a. I think there are about 5 games that we lost by a score or less, and I think 3 of those, if we'd won 3 of those and still lost the other 2, it's a different season. We win the division. We're playing Saturday, probably the first game.
Yeah.
So I'd be waiting on. So I'd be sweating out some gear. That would be some playoff gear. Yeah. My NFC South Championship gear. I'd be sweating that out right now. I would have gone to Dick's that night. Yeah. Actually, that Sunday to go pick up my stuff. But so that my season kind of starts there. With that, and because I was traveling every weekend the first few weekends of the season for work, and I'd fly back at 5 a.m. at 6 a.m. in the morning to be back in time to go to Falcon games. And my season really started actually at the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and and that gave me an overall. It did, and that gave me just a beautiful holistic picture of this game
Mm-hmm.
and how important it is to me,
Mm-hmm.
how important it is to the masses and this country and
Yeah.
and in different parts of the world, and the respect for it instilled a respect for all of the organizations and teams.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of watched games in a different way after having gone to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And it is not a moral superiority for going to the Hall of Fame. You got $50, you go to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that to say it gave me a newfound respect for literally sitting and watching every game, because in every game history can be made.
Yeah.
And so as a whole, the history was made from a variety of different teams, and history was made. There were epic surges, there are epic collapses. We have some new stars like we do every year. They're going to get overpaid next year. We'll see how it works out after they get the money. There was a big Super Bowl hangover over both teams that were in the Super Bowl this past year. But it's interesting, the teams that were in the conference championships, though, they are surging.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. The teams that it's interesting how that works itself out.
Yeah.
And then it ended the way it ended, and just this past week, since Monday. Just since Monday, we've had so much has changed, and we're going to have a lot of turnover. Yeah. And it's going to be a brand new league starting in April at the draft. So it'll be a brand new league here, actually within a couple of weeks when everybody gets hired. 7 or 8 7 openings. Maybe there's going to be an eighth. I don't know. Well, there will be an eighth, actually. Well, no, there's 7 openings. Excuse me. There's 7 openings. I think one of them is set. Hopefully, we could. I think Antonio Pierce will be coaching in Oakland.
I hope so.
But I think the rest of, if you look at everything and the rest of the league, I think it was a fun season. It was a great season, and I saw a lot of wins in Atlanta. And as my 6th year as a season, or 6 years as a season ticket holder,
yes, sir,
I appreciate that. Seeing a lot of wins at home.
Yeah.
And I look forward. Next year's home schedule is great. But we're going to talk about next year. So I look forward to. I'm already looking forward to next year. But I got to order my gear. I got to order my stuff from the team as well. That first installment comes out on the 31st.
Yes, it does.
There's no rest. There's no rest for the weary. For the weary.
No.
But I thought it was a fun regular season, and I look forward to the beginning of the end. A little sad, but look forward to the beginning of the end.
Absolutely. I think to both of you guys' points, this was a season for reflection on a lot of other things. I was able to really appreciate your post from afar, Joe, on Instagram when you were at the Hall of Fame. It was like I was there. You did me the favor of going to the Claude Humphreys bust and just really sending that photo to me meant the world to me, because it's not too many Falcons in that area.
I know that. I was in there.
Yeah, and your sense of history. The perfect person was there. You say that anybody with $50 can go there, and I agree. But everybody's 50 ain't the same. So I think you went in with an appreciation for the lore of the game.
Yeah.
You talk about our friendships and how we became friends and all these kind of things. I remember when I was a young fledgling writer for the Maroon Tiger, reading the things that you would write about, football history and the Cowboys and things like that. Inspired me, and I was like, I think I'm a fan, but Joe knows this history of the team. You know what I mean? And I was like, am I? And I aspired to try to be a little better. You wrote an article, and it stung. I got to tell you, it stung when the Falcons found their way to the Super Bowl, and then they had their season after the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
and,
Dallas came
lost
to
the
town.
Cowboys.
Whoop that. Dallas came to town to beat the mess out of them.
And that article you wrote about history and about winning culture and all this kind of thing, it stung. But I was like, he's right. Much like a recent podcast by Stephen A. Smith, but that's neither here nor there. You put it out there, and I had to like reflect on it and be like, look, man,
It
like
was a bit biased. It was a bit biased.
But it was what I wanted my team to become. You know what I mean? And eventually, in a way, Mike Smith got us. Anyway, I say all that to say,
yeah,
it was inspiring, man. And this season, I kind of was able to reflect back on, because the Falcons came in with expectations too, from a last place schedule, easy schedule in the league.
Yes, it was set up. It was set up for it.
I was still quite cynical,
because you have been.
I was never a big fan of our coach Arthur Smith. I hate that he proved me right, but the highlight of the season for me was being able to spend some time in a win.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we were there together
in the dome next to you and enjoying a win against our arch rivals.
It was. I mean, there's nothing better. There was nothing better.
Nothing better. And I harken back to another game where Chris, you were there. The outcome was not quite the same, but it was still against our arch rivals, the New Orleans Saints, and
Thanksgiving night.
Thanksgiving night.
All that
good stuff.
That was that was a fun night, man. That was a fun.
It was so fun just for us to assemble together, man. The fellas, and that's really. I was talking to a friend of mine about what football means. Why do guys like football? Why do they enjoy football? That's a big part of it. What do you think, Chris? What do you?
That if I can chime in on that, is Joe was mentioned the Hall of Fame, and another change that has gone understated this season. Can we give a shout out to former Hall of Fame president David Baker? Because when he would do that invitation, do the knock, and explain to those guys why they're getting to the Hall of Fame,
absolutely,
it sounded like this was the greatest thing to ever happen in civilization.
Yeah.
I agree. I don't like the current president. He just looks like he doesn't look well, and I always think he's gonna fall over. He's sweating. I know it's nervous, and I there's nerves, and I understand. But to your point, I love that the tradition that was started by Baker. And when you get you all will all be there. I pray I'm there with you when you go. It's not a 2-day trip; it's a 1-day trip. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But unfortunately, I mean, you had to be in Canton. But it's a building. It's kind of like you riding down the highway, and it's just like there.
Mm-hmm.
Not unlike Disney World.
Up.
Yeah, it just pops up. Not unlike Disney World. Not unlike you can't see Disney World, but this you can see it, and you can see that. You can see the iconic front, but it's not the front anymore, right? So. But and you can see from whence it comes. Now it's just got this the stadium, and they got an amusement park. They're building a hotel. There's all this stuff, right? But the core essence of it, to your point, is it's like 300 guys.
Yeah.
And so when Baker would go and tell them, you are member number 300 or 200
Yeah.
And you go in that bus room. Let me tell you something. I'm tearing up because y'all know I'm a crier, but I'm tearing up right now. But you walk in, there's no music. It's like Sal's Famous Pizza. No music. Just walk in, just quiet. Yeah, but they're all that. But it's eerily quiet. It's like going to Dealey Plaza or Ford's Theater or the Lorraine. It's like, and I don't mean to be assassination, but I'm gonna say they're quiet, right?
Yeah.
And so you walk in, but then the energy from those buses, and I'm not making it. The energy from those buses are crazy, and they're all there. The very, very best.
Yeah,
all there. Even the segregation buses.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, who could not stand up with probably the best halfback from Grambling or Jackson State or Morehouse at the time, but they're there as well. It's just, man, it is. You got to do it. I mean, Chris, you'll get. They're doing a big Steelers thing. They just announced it. They're going to do a big Steelers exhibit, and there's a huge HBCU component too, because the HBCU Hall of Fame is there. That's why I was there, as you all know. The HBCU Hall of Fame is there, so that's part of it. But nonetheless, it just gave me a better appreciation for the entirety of the game, the history of the game, and then how. Even with the history of the game, every single game is historic in the National Football League is historic because something happens.
Yeah.
Someone adds to a legacy. Someone
Mhm.
begins a legacy.
Mhm.
Someone ends whatever.
Yeah.
Something happens.
Yeah.
And so the things that they have in storage are probably even far greater than the things that they're showing you. Some of the things they have in storage are far greater than the things they're showing you out and about in the front. So
Yeah.
when they say that, oh, we're going to send this to the Hall of Fame, I saw those things, right? You see you see that, oh, this was just worn like last week. Like this was worn at or this was worn during Super Bowl. It's like, oh, okay, that's how they do that. And it's real mom and pop.
Yeah.
That's the other wild thing about it. It's like it's Canton. So
yeah.
It's what I presume Green Bay is like. Where it's very, very genial. They're nicer than like Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
The people who run it know each other. They grew
all
up there.
Volunteer. Everybody's so nice and sweet. We're in the suite. They're in the stadium. The stadium's immaculate. We're in the suite in the stadium. Everybody's just tip top, first class all the way. Everything's nice. Everything is nice. But it's like a town dedicated to football. That's only dedicated to, like, the beginning of football is there. You got to go. You got to have a pilgrimage. And if you say, hey, I'm going on this date, just tell me a month out. Okay, 2 months out.
Okay.
Because I will fly to Cleveland, Cassie pick us up and drive down.
Yes, indeed.
He probably won't pick us up, but we'll get a car and drive.
We'll get a car a little busy right now.
Yeah, he's a little busy, but we'll drive down. Yes.
So as we alluded to this time last year, we made some picks.
We did. High off of our 4-figure earnings.
Yes, off of our Joe and I were in the championship of La Liga, in the finest fantasy football league in the land, full of banter and
so many
vigorous discussion. And this year Joe made a sacrifice. I didn't really make a sacrifice per se. I made some dumb decisions, but nonetheless, we both ended up with relatively the same outcome. Outside looking in on the playoffs. Congratulations to Malachi Sims, King Malachi Sims.
Yes,
one of my favorite people.
And Bryce Adams for making to the championship. Yeah,
the much maligned Bryce Adams.
Yeah, my main man, our main man, Bryce Adams, friend of the show.
My fellow Georgia fan.
Yes.
Congratulations to the two of them in their endeavors this year in La Liga.
Right.
I get a feeling, Joe, that your karma will reward you next
year. We'll see. I had a lot going on around draft time, and I wasn't as prepared that day. And so we'll be back on it.
And you made the ultimate sacrifice.
I did, but then Chubb goes down, and then it's like
it could have been a whole different season for you. Could have been a whole different season.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm team autarky, so I don't believe in trade. Yeah. So that was another thing, but I did win king shit. So
Sleeper has a way of making you feel good even when they don't.
Yes, they do. They find some mundane stat to attribute
most efficient manager in a loss.
Yeah, most efficient manager or least efficient manager in loss. Like, so basically, Chris, it's like if you had 900 points on your bench, you're least efficient manager, right? And if you maximized your it's like the thing like, oh, I couldn't have done it anyway. Mathematically, I could. If it was one of those days, you could let that go. It's those.
Sleeper gives a lot of participation trophies.
Yeah, a lot of them.
Yeah.
Virtual. Okay.
Yeah. And talking about last year's picks, one of us had a remarkable run.
You were perfect. 72 Dolphins. Mercury Morris.
Somehow I managed to pick, I wasn't picking them the against the Lions, so there's that, you know what I mean? But I did pick the winner.
The straight winners. Yeah, straight winners.
The straight winners of every game. And as I expect, I probably will go and regress back to that mean, the proverbial mean this year. But we're gonna make these picks tonight, man, and see how things go. So our first matchup this weekend, and I want to talk a little bit about some of the decisions the NFL made about some of these games. I think you guys probably can read the tea leaves and know which in particular, but the first match of the day is The Cleveland Browns are our dear friend Cassie David, who we've already made mention of.
Cassie,
diehard Cleveland Browns fan. So much
Yes.
so that at his wedding, various chants and his whole tailgate crew was there.
Yes.
He's bought completely in. So his Browns are facing the Texans of Houston in Houston.
NRG Stadium.
In NRG Stadium. And so Chris, what are your feelings on that matchup? Who you like?
Well, if I recall, Cleveland did beat them by 2 touchdowns. Christmas Eve. I don't really like that Cleveland's kicker is going to be out. But
look at him doing his homework.
Just a little bit. But
that's a lot.
Ace Rothstein.
I want to root for DeMeco Ryan.
Ace Rothstein.
And I love the turnaround that he's had in Houston. But because I would like to ride and not pay for an Uber all the way from Cleveland, Canton, I'm going to take the Browns on Saturday.
All right. Joe, what about you?
Houston's a remarkable story. They really are. They're a remarkable story this year. Very happy for them. And that's a lot coming from me. But again, had I not, as a fan of the game, I hate Houston, but as a fan of the game, Houston proper. And I know Antoy listens, so this, I love you.
Shout out to Antoy Bell, who
shout out to my guy, baby, Anala J. Bell, prayerfully.
Exactly.
Spellman 28, prayerfully. She got into Laura Spelman College, so and it's one of her top choices. So hopefully that's her choice. But nonetheless, Houston's been a remarkable story this year. I don't trust them going beyond this game, but I think that DeMeco is going to have them exceptionally ready for this game at home. Houston has played a lot of these games where they've won the AFC South. No one gives a shit about Houston. No one cares about Houston. And so they always play the Saturday game first. The one that it's on? It's like a London game. They always get this spot. And if it was our team, I'm pretty sure if it was our team, Calvin, I'm almost positive we might have gotten this spot.
Yeah, we would have got but a rival podcast calls it the Shakey's Bowl.
Yeah, the Shakey's Bowl, right? But it would depend on who we were playing.
Yeah,
right.
Sure.
If you said it like December 1st, we'd have been playing Dallas, so we would have probably gotten a different time. But if it was like as of right now, we got Philly.
A down. Well, we'll talk about that.
Yeah, we definitely would have. We might have had that Saturday spot. So, Cleveland's playing hot football right now. They truly are, and they have a quarterback that knows how to win. They've got a lot of good pieces there. I am putting my faith in the kid. It's a tough one. The common sense says go with Cleveland, but I'm going to go with Houston. I'm going to go with Houston.
Okay.
I'm putting my faith in the kid because I believe the kid is a winner.
Yeah.
And you don't know what you don't know. So there's no fear. And he's been on big stages.
Yeah.
And done just fine in those big stages. They didn't lose in the CFP because of his play. Okay. Now he probably he definitely had better receivers playing college than he does on Saturday. Definitely in his last college game until
around halftime.
Kid got hit, but I'm saying throughout the season, right? So nonetheless, I'm going with the Houston Texans.
Okay.
Texans.
Okay.
All right. Pick is in. Houston, Texas.
The pick is in. I love it. So I like the discussion we're having so far on it. The elephant in the room here is that this is kind of the Deshaun Watson Bowl too. I know it's passe to mention.
Forgot about that.
But funny, he's not playing. Funny how
money
Cleveland went through four quarterbacks this season. But defense wins championships, and Cleveland's defense has been epic at times. Myles Garrett is somehow the most unsung defensive player. If you know.
What generation?
Real fans know. Real naysayers know. But
real's nice. My link shirt isn't in yet. But
hey, there you go. But their defense has been carrying them throughout the season, and then they pick up Flacco, who was resurgent, and has played reminiscent of his 2012 run. He looks fantastic.
He does.
I don't know how long that'll last. To your point earlier about your fantasy team losing Nick Chubb, Cleveland's lost a lot and has remained resilient. And I think there's been a lot said about Kevin Stefanski.
Mhm.
I've been very impressed with his coaching job this year.
Mhm.
And that being said, he's going up against a team like you said, Joe, that doesn't know any better. A young, precocious CJ Stroud coming in there, on certainly going to be the offensive player of the year, offensive rookie of the year.
Mhm.
Their defense is not something to sniff at either. They definitely have
The defensive rookie of the year as well.
Defensive rookie of the year are who I wanted us to target, Alabama's own
I thought we were going to pick him up too.
So
I'm glad we did. We did all right in the draft.
We did. I think Bijan's gonna be fine. But with that being said, I think it's gonna be a tough matchup. I gotta go with Cleveland. I think that Cleveland is going to have a hell of a game on their hands. But I think that defense is going to come through. I think maybe even a defensive score might make a difference here in this game. But I wouldn't be surprised if it goes the other way. I'm not gonna hedge though. I think Cleveland gets this one. So we got two for Cleveland, one for Houston.
Absolutely.
And I think that's gonna be a hell of a game. The next match, and this is a contentious point for me. The Miami Dolphins going into Kansas City to play the Kansas City Chiefs, two of the more popular teams in the NFL.
Yep.
Certainly the momentum of a certain pop star dating a certain tight end, and a very stylish coach on the other team wearing the off-white Nikes and the sweats and gold chains, and stylish offense, got the fastest player in the NFL on the squad in Miami. And yet somehow the NFL has made the decision to put this game on Peacock and not network television, not nationally broadcast. This game is a travesty in my eyes. This is, I'm a Peacock subscriber. Joe, you are
full
also.
bird. Yeah, we're full bird Peacock.
We are full bore. Office.
Full bird Peacock.
Full bird. I love it. Full bird Peacock. We got The Office. We got. I'm a Liverpool supporter.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I know you're.
Alone.
I'm the Office. You're the Liverpool. We're both the Office, but I mean the Liverpool's there for you. I just watched The Holdovers on Peacock.
Excellent film.
Yeah, I just watched that on Peacock. Film. The early release, things.
And Peacock has its merits, but I think the NFL has gone too far in terms of.
You don't put it on national TV. It's a playoff game. Like, come on, man. Like,
and these are, and I know these teams have massive followings, and this is purposeful. Yeah. But I think it's going to backfire massively. I think it's going to backfire massively for them. I really do. The sports bars have it figured out.
Yeah.
But what you're going to see in home, I don't think the casual viewer, which playoff time brings out the casual viewers, I don't think they're going to tune in. So nonetheless, I'm gonna make my pick first here, so that there's no, I can't see any outcome other than the Chiefs winning this match. I think that the Dolphins have an offensive juggernaut at times, but when these two teams played earlier in the season, it wasn't. I just think that Andy Reid finds a way to win this match. So I'm picking the Chiefs. Joe, I'm interested in your thoughts though on what I said and then your pick.
Yeah, I agree. I think playoff games need to be on network television. As do I think NFL playoff games need to be on network television. Full stop.
Yeah.
They can also be streaming on the platform. That's fine, like they've been doing. Sunday night games. This is what they've been doing with Sunday night games all season. So they're on Peacock and NBC. Paramount has CBS games sometimes. Fox is the only one that you gotta get the Fox. You gotta get the Fox stream for Fox. And while we're talking about that, NFL Plus, they just completely switched it up this year and really screwed the pooch, in my opinion. They took a really they made it too cheap. And I think they realized it was too cheap from the beginning. It was $19.99 for the season last year, and you could watch any game you wanted. And then this season, they jacked it up to $79.99, $79.99 or something like that. And then it was like an out of market, in market thing. It just completely changed it. So they've got to figure the streaming part out. But to your point, I agree. The game should be on NBC. If you're going to be NBC, be on NBC. Like, why are you going to? I don't understand this just on Peacock. I understand it from a business perspective of the number of subscriptions they're going to get from, obviously from Kansas City and of course from Florida, and particularly South Florida and Miami specifically. But and so there'll be a surge with that. They've got a nice introductory thing, a free thing or whatever. They've got that. So that'll do it for a month, and that's that, right? And the next thing you know, you'll be sitting there, you're watching after the game, you'll be watching Yellowstone, and then you're like, I got to get this. I got to keep this, right? So that's how it usually works. But back to the game. One thing you did not mention was the weather, and it's going to be very, very cold there. And I do believe that that's going to slow down these Dolphins. I don't think it's going to slow down Tyreek Hill. I think it's going to have an effect on Tua and possibly Waddle. Their run game is Mostert. Sure, he's cool. He's good. Kansas City is definitely streaky and iffy. To your point, I do not see a scenario wherein at 8:00 at night when it's going to be whatever below zero, I just don't see Andy Reid losing this game to McDaniels. I cannot see him getting out coached. I think Tyreek will do something. He's gonna show them what they're missing, but it won't be enough. I think Miami at this point, and I think without Chubb, it's a very different team defensively. And Chubb was in a game that they were down 30 in the fourth quarter, and he tore his ACL. It was about the stupidest thing you could ever do. I don't know why he was still in that game. That is a huge coaching mistake by the Miami coaches. I just want to say that on here. I could not understand why you have your best defensive player out there at that time down 30, and then he blows his ACL out in what became a meaningless game. But against Baltimore. But having said all that, I'm going with the reigning world champions, the Kansas City Chiefs.
Awesome. Okay, so Chris, you've been absorbing these thoughts. What do you think?
Here. At first, I want to join in with the airing of grievances. While you two are subscribers to the Digital Bird, I have my own Digital Bird that I want to give to this decision, but I will not display it. Now, Miami, Kansas City. So you mentioned the previous game. I want to point out that game was played on a nice 72 degrees, no wind in Frankfurt.
Yeah, that's fair.
The coldest Miami winds of this season were against the Commanders, where it's 54 degrees in December, on December 3rd. And in November against the Jets, when it was 50 degrees. Furthermore, Miami only has one win against another team with a winning record.
Hey, come through with the stats.
The Dallas Cowboys.
As we like to say in this part, it's going to be 4 degrees, if that warm, on Saturday night, Kansas City.
And even colder down there on the field.
Yeah. In Gihar.
And don't get me started on the wind, but I'm sorry. Keep going, brother. I'm sorry.
But Kansas City.
Yeah, why belabor this?
Yeah. I think
we are agreed.
We are agreed, and I think we might be in blowout alert territory. I neglect that point about Chubb, Joe. Spot on. Like that's a game.
They're a different team. They're a different team without their best pass rusher.
Yeah.
coming after Pat.
Yeah. So our next game, Sunday at 12, the resilient, ever present coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, Mike Tomlin, who was under unprecedented fire this season for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Everybody's coming out the woodworks. Ben Roethlisberger coming out the woodworks to come against him. You know what I mean? And
got a lot of nerve. Got a lot of nerve.
A lot of nerve on that guy.
Thief,
a lot of nerve.
That thief. That
yeah.
A lot of other things. Yes.
And a lot of other things. Yeah.
Yes.
The Steelers have managed to have yet another winning season, make it to the playoffs again, and we'll be going up against the team in Buffalo, where they circle the wagons, the Buffalo Bills, and another game that probably is going to be probably pretty cold up there too, in Orchard Park, New York. Joe, what are your thoughts on this game?
I've watched a lot of Steelers games, and I've watched about 14, 15 Buffalo games. I don't even know how I've watched so many Buffalo, but I've watched a lot of Buffalo games. I really have, and I can't even, like, every time I turn on the TV, it's a game in Buffalo at night when they put that red light on in that deck. I always think it's like a warming light, but I know it's not. I know it's not
like your local bar.
Yeah, or no, like when they used to have chicken and at the grocery store. The red at Piccadilly. And so the Bills are playing good football right now.
Mm-hmm.
They somehow get it done in spite of themselves, in spite of their erratic quarterback play,
mm-hmm.
and they're usually in the game regardless.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They're usually a player they stay close enough
mm-hmm.
that they're in the game regardless.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have the same faith in Mason Rudolph and
the derision in your voice and saying his name.
No, I don't even want to. He's been playing well, but I don't think, despite whatever magic Tomlin can put together with Mason, I just don't see them overcoming Buffalo on the road.
Yeah.
The weather would be but they're Pittsburgh. They're Steelers. They're used to weather. Mm-hmm. It is what it is. But I think Buffalo, it could be ugly with Buffalo on this day. I think this will be a mini coronation because they love Josh Allen.
They do.
They love. I mean, God, I'm so glad Collinsworth isn't doing this game because, good gosh,
Josh Allen,
the filleting of this man is just, it's on another level. It's on another level how much they love Josh Allen. I love watching him play. I do, but good gosh.
Yeah.
So I'm going with the Buffalo Bills.
You're circling the wagons, eh? Okay. All right, Chris, what are your thoughts?
All right. So another cold weather game.
Mm-hmm.
The Pittsburgh Steelers have a tendency to rally around their coach when he needs a win.
Mm-hmm.
That's in the regular season. We're not in the regular season anymore, and
nope.
As Michael Williams has shown us recently in his 3-hour interview with Shannon Sharpe, let me give credit to the inspiration of what I'm about to say to Mr. Shay Sharpe himself. Mason Rudolph Isley, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Buffalo by 13.
Hey. I love it, man. I wish I had some yak here.
Right.
To second, I think this is one we all agree. Again, I also see no possible outcome where Buffalo loses this game. I do agree, Joe. This could potentially get very ugly,
very fast.
Very fast. The only thing that bothers me a bit is our Chris Collinsworth's favorite quarterback, Josh Allen's propensity to spot the team some points.
Yeah,
he will do that, but TJ Watt's status, he's out, right?
I thought it was, wasn't it like concussion? Wasn't it his head, or was it something else?
I thought it was a pec, but I could be wrong. I granted, I didn't do my homework.
Nah, you know what? I hadn't heard anything about him this week.
Okay. Well, I don't think it's gonna make too much of a difference. You know,
he'll be there.
Yeah, and I look for James Cook to make his presence known in this particular game.
No, he won't be there. He won't be there.
James Cook won't be there.
No, TJ Watt won't be there. So you can forget that.
TJ won't be there. Okay.
So that's it. That's it.
Okay. Yeah.
Well,
I
don't know why they're getting on. I don't know why they're getting on the train.
So you can tell I'm not a gambler. I just pick games, but I'm not a gambler because like the gamblers would know for sure. You know, before they put that money down.
Yeah. TJ Watt's not playing.
Yeah. It's not gonna be close. But you know, nonetheless, like Issa Rae, I'm pulling for everybody black.
You gotta play the games too. You play the games.
You play the games. If Tomlin comes out, I won't be mad. If they win this match, you know,
absolutely.
But I just, you know, the Bills. This is kind of, you know, they're getting hot at the right time. That happens sometimes in the NFL where a team just gets hot and has buzzsaw written all over them. It happened with the Bengals a few years ago. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if these Buffalo Bills came through and did something similar to what the Bengals did a few years ago. But we'll see. You know, and I'll save that for later. But next matchup, we got the Packers of Green Bay. A wonderful story of redemption towards the end of the year. You know, that a lot of people had written Jordan Love rather off. You know, as a bust, and you know, he grew and matured, and next thing you know, Thanksgiving, where is this coming from? And then now they're in the playoffs. Unfortunately, they have the indignity of going against the Cowboys of Dallas in Jerry's world. Speaking of teams getting hot at the right time, Cowboys, you know, looking good. They shrugged off that moniker of you can't beat a winning team because they beat the Lions. Regardless of whatever happened at the end of that game, I mean, it wasn't close for a while. The Lions fought back. You know what I mean? Like, so, you know, Dallas is looking good. But anyway, I don't want to. Chris, give me your thoughts. What do you think?
You know, I only have cutesy takes on this particular one. No, nothing deep this time. But it's going to be a doggone shame what we see out of Mike McCarthy on Sunday, because as good Southerners, we should know not to treat house guests like that. I have Dallas. Team Blue Star.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and weigh in before I toss it over to you, Joe. I think you know, it's a nice story. Matt LaFleur certainly has coached up that squad, the youngest squad in the NFL. But you know, again, Dallas just coming together at the right time. That defense is magnificent. Dan Quinn led defense. The quarterback play for Dak has been stellar. Any other year, you know, he'd be hands down MVP. Just so happens that a guy in Baltimore won some games in a period of time and threw together some games with a narrative kind of put him at MVP. But Dakota Rain Prescott is going to lead the Cowboys to a victory in Jerry's world and move along to the second round. Joe, what are your thoughts?
We're going with Big D.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And of all these neighborhoods, the Cowboys don't play in any of them and haven't since 1970. But no, I all the things you said, all those reasons. You know, we're gonna hear a lot about Ice Bowl and Dez caught it, which he did, and Aaron Rodgers the last time he was there, and those games with Favre in '93 and '94 playoffs and all. We're gonna hear about it. None of those people are playing.
Yeah,
not one of those people are playing. They might be there to watch, but none of those people are playing. And so, to that end, this is a new day. Well, no, McCarthy will be there. Excuse me, but to that end, this is a new day, and these are new teams. I'm very excited about Jordan Love because I watched him bewildered, you know, bewitched, bothered, and bewildered in game one of this season. But I'm excited to have watched his evolution as a quarterback, and we're always here for the black quarterbacks. So that's great. But there's something coming for him. and I do believe that Dallas was going to take care of business and win this divisional game. Now, what happens with that? Okay, so then we have the overreaction, of course, and everything else, and visions of sugar plums and all that, and that comes with it. That comes with it, of course. But I think you see a good game, and the mark of a good game in Dallas. It's not when Cooper Rush comes in. It's not when anything else happens other than they do the ceremonial up down thing before their up down lineman move before they go into their taking a knee it's a nod to Landry. It's a nod to Coach Landry and those teams, because he did a change thing. The guys would have their hands on their knee pads, and then they go down. You never really it would throw the teams off. Throw the other team off. It worked well in the 70s, but nonetheless, I'm sorry to say Dallas will win this game. Dallas will cover, I'm pretty sure, but it doesn't matter. All they need is an ugly win. All they need to do is win by one, and then you advance.
A win is a win is a win.
A win is a win is a win. This is the definition of it.
Yeah, I got you. Now we go into what I deem to be the marquee matchup of the weekend. This and if you had told me a few years ago that the Detroit Lions would be involved in the marquee matchup of an NFL playoff weekend, the super wild card weekend, I would have told you were crazy. But here we are. The NFC North division winning Detroit Lions. Shout outs to so many of my Detroit friends, but particularly Jeff Jones and Dave Lewis, who carried that banner when it was not popular. I'm happy to see them in the playoffs in a position to really do well. Detroit versus everybody is a moniker that they wear with pride. They're used to being an underdog, and to that end, the narrative, I don't believe they're the underdog by Vegas standards, but the narrative seems to be that Stafford is going to come in there and win this game for the Rams and prove something to the Lions who traded him, yada yada, this, that, and the other. Another quarterback was traded in that game, in that matchup as well. Jared Goff was traded. Even with the loss of Laporta, and I don't know his status is because it was a hyperextended knee, right?
Yeah,
pretty sure
it was season ending.
So losing Laporta hurts badly. But Amon-Ra St. Brown's playing this game. Josh Reynolds is playing this game. They got some weapons there in Detroit. Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery gonna be running the rock, and that defense, man. Aiden Hutchinson has just as time has gone on this season, looked like more and more of the monster that he was predicted to be. I cannot see Detroit losing this game to the LA Rams, although I'm a big fan of Sean McVay. I love what he's done with this team in particular, who was expected to, I think they're over under this season for wins was somewhere around 5. He's done a remarkable job. The Lions in Ford Field, where it's going to be incredibly loud. I think that the Lions will win this game and advance to the next round. Joe, what are your thoughts?
Much like the 91 Lions, I think this is a special team, a team of destiny. That last win they got at home was 38-3 over the Dallas Cowboys, who were coming off an 11-5 wild card year.
Bounce back year, though.
It was a bounce back year in Jimmy's third year. After winning the wild card at Chicago and knocking Waddle out of the game 7 times. But Detroit won that game by running and by throwing the ball. The running back is a Hall of Famer, the greatest of all time. The Detroit running back was the greatest of all time. The person who was catching the ball wasn't. The person who was throwing the ball wasn't. They don't have the greatest of all time in there on Sunday, but they're going to have a raucous crowd. They've been ready for this. I don't see a way that Detroit loses. However, I am proud of the coaching that Sean McVay has done this year with Raheem Morris, because I gotta shout out Raheem. He's really gotten that defense cooking. They got some young stuff with Pakua And Bakua, they got some pieces offensively. I just don't think that the Rams have enough guns to outshoot the Lions at home on a fast field like that. I just can't see it. I can't see them doing it. I think Matt will play well. I think Goff will be Goff. I think Matt will play well, but I just don't think it'll be enough to overcome the streak and the proud rush of the Detroit Lions.
All right, Chris.
So in the battle of the old Coots franchises, we're talking about 180 years of combined history. Shout out to the random fact. Detroit is 94. The Rams are 86, going all the way back to the Cleveland Rams.
Yeah.
Detroit in 94 years has played 20 playoff games.
Whew. One.
They win their 8th on Saturday.
Eight. Okay.
Wow.
I bet my dad was at like 5 of them. If they were at Tiger Stadium, my dad was at 5 of them.
Hey man, you're going back to the Bobby Lane days. You know what I mean?
Night Train Lane, big Night Train Lane. Lynn Barney.
Yeah,
who's in the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Nice.
Jackson State Tiger.
Nice pull.
Happy to help.
Yeah. Our last matchup of the weekend.
Yes.
The defending NFC champion, Philadelphia Eagles, go into somehow.
How is this a Monday night game? How is this a Monday night game?
And that's the other travesty, by the way.
Gotta wait all day.
There's a Monday night. Like, come on, man. Like, give us Saturday.
Well, it's NBA. It's NBA's day. It's the NBA's day.
Okay, that's fair.
And they screwed them over on Christmas, so it's the NBA's day.
Okay. Well,
that's my guess. I don't know.
I mean, it makes sense. But the defending NFC champion Eagles not doing so well right now. Not looking so hot against somehow Baker Mayfield. Somebody had to win that division, and Todd Bowles put together a squad. Chris, what are your thoughts on this matchup here?
Philly has been struggling, and I think a lot of teams have figured out. They're over the whole what is it, the tush push, whatever name you want to give it. Everybody's figured it out by now.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield can sling that ball when he wants to, and Tampa Bay's defense can give you fits when they want to. Philly is good showing up at the right time sometimes. And I think back to Super Bowl 55 when some reporter did not know Byron Leftwich from Todd Bowles, and Byron Leftwich had to tell that reporter, if you want to learn about that defensive scheme, you need to go ask Todd about that. Monday night, go ask Todd about why they beat Philly.
Okay. All right. Joe.
Give me Tampa Bay.
Chris says TB, huh? Okay. I don't it was actually 38-6. Sorry about that. I said 33. Sorry, it was 38-6. January 92, they won that. Okay, actually January 5th, 1992. Okay. There's no love lost for me and Philadelphia Eagles. And I struggled to I just don't know what happened. And something is truly amiss. I think if it were a number of other teams that were 10-1 and collapsed this way, it would be on a nonstop loop. I think they love Sirianni. And maybe it's an aberration. Maybe look at it as like it's some kind of aberration or something like that. But if you look back too, and I was talking to my buddy Josh, who's been like a 15-year Cowboys season ticket holder. Josh, the game that they beat Dallas in, they didn't really. It's more Dallas scratched on the 8 ball in that game, so they lose that game, and it's the decline was evident then. Because they were so dominating to start the end of the previous season, and then to start the season. They were so dominating, and I get it. We're going to get back. We're going to do it. We're going to get back. And then little by little, something just started to fall apart. I don't know what it was. I don't know what it is. And I'm sure they don't either. And to hear Jalen, oh, we'll fix it. You're not gonna fix it. And I don't think you're gonna fix it by Monday. In fact, I'm upset that we have to wait till that long to watch them lose this game. So I'm saying that Tampa Bay, Todd Bowles, former Morehouse College defensive coordinator,
Yay!
Wins this game.
All right. So we got two for the Buccaneers, Tampa Bay.
One of your towns. One of your towns. It's one of your towns.
It's one of my towns for sure.
Yeah.
One of shout out to
Ybor
Gerald
City.
Allen, Iman, Jeff and Danielle, the whole crew.
Ybor.
Lisa. Yeah. That's it. They snuck into all. You just get into the tournament, right? So and Baker's got a playoff win under his belt. Don't ever let us forget that. He won a game with the Browns. And it's that
never let it be forgot.
Yeah. So there's that part too. I want to talk a little bit more about the Eagles and their collapse because Jalen's been playing hurt. To the extent, we'll probably never know. He's a tough guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a lot of pride. He's a hell of a quarterback and he's under duress. The Philadelphia fans that I know and love, particularly my main man Ray Herring, they're not too happy with Sirianni right now. Brandon Hill as well. These guys are, the Philadelphia contingent is known for being cantankerous and fickle and any other adjective you want to throw at them, and they probably have earned that. And the real thing I've noticed is the defense. I think people have figured out a lot about that defensive scheme and have figured out that particularly the linebacking core, not where it's at with Philly this year. They've not performed very well in the back half of the season. To your point, Joe, that game against Dallas, I think, was kind of like almost the Rosetta Stone for a lot of teams. They just kind of aha. So
Dallas figured something out that game. They just couldn't. Dallas scratched.
They couldn't capitalize on that, right?
Yeah, they couldn't capitalize on it. Or Dak didn't keep his foot in bounds, and then I think it's a different game.
Yeah, but the blueprint was there. That said, Philadelphia, they got moxie. They've been there, and not to say Tampa's been there recently too, but Philly made a deep run last year.
Mm-hmm.
I think somehow, some way, Philly scratches out an ugly Jamie Foxx in living color Wanda ugly win against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Philadelphia.
in Tampa, one of my favorite cities. Shout out to all those people in Hillsborough County, Pinellas County. Tampa is a wonderful place, and especially when Tampa's winning, it's a great place to be. I just, my gut's telling me Philly somehow ekes out a win against Tampa in Tampa and moves on to that next round in the tournament, and lives to fight another day. So I'm going with Philly. So we got Joe. You were keeping the tally there.
I have been.
Run down those picks for us.
So game 1, Cleveland at Houston. Calvin Smith and Chris Lee are with Cleveland. Joe Carlos, myself. I'm with the Houston Texans. Mm-hmm. Game 2, Miami at Kansas City. We are all agreed that the Kansas City Chiefs, the reigning world champions, will win this game. And I think we're all agreed it will be handily.
Mm-hmm.
Game 3, the Buffalo Bills and the Pittsburgh Steelers. In Buffalo, we are all agreed that the Buffalo Bills will advance. Game 4, the Green Bay Packers at the Dallas Cowboys. We are all agreed that the Dallas Cowboys will advance past the wild card round against the upstart Packers. Game 5. Game 5, the Detroit Lions and the Los Angeles Rams. We're all agreed that the Detroit Lions will take care of business and beat the visiting Matt Stafford and the visiting Los Angeles Rams. And game 6 on Monday night, for some gosh forsaken reason, Philadelphia's Eagles, the reigning NFC champions, travel to Tampa Bay, Florida, to take on the Buccaneers at Raymond James Stadium. Calvin believes that Philadelphia will muster up an ugly win, while Chris and I are agreed that Todd Bowles on Martin Luther King Day will take care of business with Baker Mayfield as his quarterback.
Shout out to Jonathan Majors.
Yes.
Awesome. So I assume that Christopher, you're joining us throughout this playoff run.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Right. Absolutely.
And we shall see the outcome of these games.
Right. We'll discuss our picks.
Yes, we'll discuss our picks. Hopefully some impassioned Ossie Davis-esque coaching rant will occur in some locker room. Your lady friends will be out there watching.
We'll be watching.
Do you want me to
lose my job?
Because I think some jobs may be on the line this weekend. Who knows? But I think all in all, we're in for a hell of a slate. Chris, my fellow Honda Campus All-Star Challenge alumnus, is so great. Champion. Yes, more championships than me.
3-time champion.
A captain at that. You know what I mean? Like this guy's, hey, look, man. We really, really appreciate you joining us, and look forward to having you next week as we discuss the outcomes of these games and talk about whatever slate awaits us the next week, because I'm really looking forward to seeing what Lamar and a certain Mr. Irrelevant in San Francisco and CMC and the crew do next week. But
I enjoyed being here. Hopefully on my next appearance, I'll be coming back as the defending champion at 6-0, but more than likely not.
Hey,
again, we have no bearing on the outcome of these games, so you're good, Holmes. You're good.
Yeah, man. It's all luck, man. But nonetheless, it's fun to discuss, and this is the best time of year, the best and worst time of year, because it signifies that it's almost over.
Yeah.
And we've managed to make it all the way through without talking about the elephant in the room, but I'll leave that alone. Man, my favorite. Hey, Chris, I got to tell you, you're my favorite, and I do play favorites. My favorite of the Alabama fans is my man Chris Lee. And in that group, there's a large number of you guys, and I love Smitty. And God knows I love JC Love, but
in spite of himself,
because of himself, I love JC Love.
Yes.
Well, and let me just close with good evening to Brother Killer and to Brother High Road.
That's right.
Thank you.
That's
both
right.
Brethren on this evening.
Thank you. I'm always happy to receive brethren status, even though I know what it really means. But thank you, sir. Hey, Joe, keep that energy, brother.
We coming.
Keep that energy. Hey,
we coming.
Hook 'em,
right? Hey, so are we?
Hey, exactly.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Hey, tell Sark not to send us a voicemail this morning.
Oh Lord. And there we go.
L'Oreal got the phone. L'Oreal got the phone. I don't think y'all ready for that. I don't think y'all ready for Mrs. Sarkeesian.
Certain team in Athens has to play both of you guys next year, so we'll have something to say about that. But
we coming.
At any rate, ladies and gentlemen, we really do appreciate you guys listening. Our longtime listeners, we got a lot of shout outs, like my man Ray Herring. I'm sure my friend Tata, the Rabbit Pittsburgh terrible towel waving fan, I'm sure she's gonna be angry with our pick tonight, and she'll have to live with that. But you can catch us on all the streaming services, most notably Spotify, Apple. We do post our YouTube video as well. You can catch us on just about any Anchor FM. If you want to find us anywhere, you surely can find us at the Open Tabs Podcast. We hashtag the Open Tabs Podcast. If you follow us on Instagram, Open Tabs Podcast is there as well. Joe is a wonderful follow on all social media. Classy gentleman.
Thank you,
Chris. We certainly, can find you if we wish on the socials. I'm there as well.
Vaguely, but yes.
Yes,
vaguely
yes.
Always lurking.
Follow us, like us, subscribe. Let us know what your thoughts are. We certainly appreciate, side conversations. Shout out to our main man, Reese, with ShirleyShirts.com. He's always willing to interject. His Bears aren't in the contest, but that is okay. I'm sure he will still have thoughts on our picks, and particularly us picking against the Packers.
Shout out to Reese. Shout
out to our main man, Reese Hendricks. So at any rate, until the next time, we have been the Open Tabs Podcast. We'll see you the next time.